Hi everyone, it's Nitty Nat Stitches. I'm not in my normal stitching location. I'm actually in a hotel. I'm meeting up with one of my fellow modmins, Sue. Oh, that's so much better. Look at the light on my face, so much nicer. But I'm in Penrith and meeting up with fellow Whip Warriors modmin Sue and another good friend of ours, Rachel, who is up from Victoria for baseball, I believe. Rachel, you'll need to correct me. So I thought I might do my my Flosstube from my hotel room in Penrith. It's nice and quiet here as well. And I didn't have a lot of stitching this last month, but before I jump in, let's take a little tour around this hotel room. So I can see the way in over there and a handy dandy little kitchenette. There's a coffee machine and a kettle. There's also a really fancy tea there, TWG tea. It's a Singaporean company, I think. Really lovely. So I'm really feeling quite posh staying here tonight. All right, and if I come back, oh yes, and huge TV. Not that I'll be watching a lot of that tonight. The standard nice size bed. All right, let's go for a wee walk, and we'll. Oh yes, and the view outside. I don't know if you can see it there, but we've got local support for rugby players. It's the grand final this Saturday, and yeah, Penrith is in the grand final. So I'm in Penrith. It's a big deal. Gorgeous bathroom. Take a look at that. Oh yes, nice, and a few nice smelly things in the bathroom there too. So yeah, let's get down to business, and we will talk stitching. Hi everyone, it's Nitty Nat Stitches coming to you from the Pullman Hotel in Western Sydney in Penrith. I'm here to catch up with a friend of mine who's come up from Melbourne. I haven't seen her in about a year, so really looking forward to that. Rachel, Mrs. Rachify on Instagram. And also to catch up with a fellow Whip Warriors modmin, and we catch up at least once a month. She works near my work, and so when she comes into the office and I happen to be there at the same time, we have a breakfast date. So, but this time it's much more social. Neither of us is working today, and yeah, we're having a lovely evening this evening. Yeah, so I figured it has been a long time since I've done a Flosstube. I've done a whip parade and a finishers parade recently. And yeah, I think it's time that we had a more run-of-the-mill Flosstube. How about that? Hey, stitchy friends? But it's probably going to be a shorter Flosstube. I haven't done as much stitching in September. It was a really busy month for me. I had two concerts, two really big, hard concerts, and they both came hard on the heels of each other. I also had my sister's birthday and my sister's wedding as well. So it was a really busy time for me, which meant that I didn't stitch as much as I normally would have done. And but what I did stitch on was really focused. I linked into the Sampler September theme quite a fair bit this month. but even so, I really only touched 2 samplers, but what I did work on, I got quite a lot of progress, so I'm quite happy. I also had a start and a finish. Shall we look at the stitching? Let's get into it. So the start and the finish that I had is Bullbine and Bees by the Blue Flower. Now this is a free pattern from the, I'm trying to remember, is it the Cottage Garden Threads blog or is it the Blue Flower blog? Either way, go and look for Cottage Garden Threads and the Blue Flower, and you'll find the free pattern, and it is Bullbine and Bees, and it is super sweet, and the light is very warm in here, but you do get a real hint of what the chart looks like. There we go, that's better. That's a bit more daylight there. There we are. So it's a small chart. It's only about 85 stitches high, about 70 stitches wide. And I stitched it in Cottage Garden Threads, which are called for brand, but there are a number of different colorways within Cottage Garden Threads, and I've collected the Joanna Cabanoff, the JK range of Cottage Garden Threads. I like that they're meant for cross stitches, and while there is some variegation, it's not a strong variegation, which is what a lot of Cottage Garden threads have. There is some, you can see it in this orange here, which is called Sleepy Cat, and it's a beautiful orange. No, Gilt, that's the gold. It's the but this orange up here is called Sleepy Cat. It's a beautiful brownie orange. There we go, just let you see that. Nice. So yeah, start and finish. That was almost 1,900 stitches, probably a little bit more when you consider the back stitch there. And that was a start and a finish for the month of September. I stitched that on an opalescent 36 count, I think in, I don't know the colour, possibly something like Stormy, dyed by Paddock Lane Designs. I've got a bunch of the dye spots that are specials, and yeah, it's good to be able to stitch on fabric that was dyed by my good friend Lisa. Hi Lisa. The project that really got a lot of work was Saga by Long Dog Stitches. Now I'm stitching this on a 40 count linen dyed by number 12 Stitch Co. Called Decrepit. It's a fabulous neutral linen, and it's got these beautiful purples and yellows into it. It kind of looks like a big fat bruise, but I'm stitching on this wonderful, very subtly dyed, over dyed linen, and using just a plain DMC. I'm using DMC white. Now I got just over 6,000 stitches, 6,043 stitches of this done, and that was pretty much all of that. Oh, strong shadows, I'm so sorry. There we go. So from about that crazy goat there all the way across 2 full archways, and started on the last second to last archway. The chart stops about here. So that is the width of my fabric. So I'm pretty much spot on in terms of width. So really happy with progress. It's a monochrome. I'm stitching it as a monochrome. Other people have stitched it with colors. I really like the monochrome look, and while I hadn't intended it to, someone described it as lace. It looks like lace, and I think that's a really lovely description. So yes, my lacy saga. Fun. So as I said, I got 6,000 stitches on it. It really was my big focus for the month. I just had it set up on my stand, and even though I had some crazy hours with work and with performing at the Opera House, I would sometimes wake up early in the morning and I would just get up and I'd stitch. I'd put in a few lengths before I had to really get moving. It was a really nice way to keep connected with my stitching, just putting in a couple of lengths every day. Some days I was able to get more done, and some days not at all. In fact, I had a whole week. I'm looking at my book of days, and yeah, no, I had a whole week where I didn't get any stitching done at all. And the last project that I worked on during the month of September, and I'm just going to remove the needle minder, is a Christmas project, a stitch along that I'm doing with my friends from Aussie Hours. Here we are. So that's where I got to up to the end of September. So you can see the line of leaves along the bottom there. That was August, and everything above that line of leaves, that bottom line of leaves, has been September. I was hoping to be able to get the whole of that line done, but it wasn't to be. This is another stitch on very small count fabric. This is a 56 count fabric. It's linen. It's a mystery linen. We picked it up in a craft sale and craft materials sale, and put on by a charity shop. And yeah, I'm one of those crazies who likes to stitch on small stuff. And yeah, it's fun. So it's a Veronique Enginger. It's a Christmas tree that's made up of Christmas food. So you can see there's a cake and some cookies, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be really quite a nice little stitch. I haven't done any of the back stitching. Once the back stitching comes on, it'll really come alive, so that'll be nice. So what about my plans for October? I'm not a big spooky stitcher, but I am kind of feeling like I've got a fair few Christmas stitches that I need to get moving, including the Veronique Enginger. We've just started up a stitching game in Whip Warriors that's going to follow quite closely with the Survivor season 47 of Survivor. Wow. So yeah, that's a thing. And so just kind of moving into the seasonal stitching for that. And what we're doing is we're assigning one whip to each of the 3 Survivor teams. I can't remember the name of them right now. It's all on my phone, which is what I'm using for recording. And yeah, so yeah, three Christmas whips, and so I'll show you which ones they are, and that way when it comes to the end of October, we can look at what my progress has been. As I was saying, 1 whip for each of the teams. And when a team gets put up for a reward or achieves immunity, then you stitch a self-nominated amount of stitches or a self-nominated amount of time on each of those projects. And then you assign a project to one of the eliminated individuals, and then you stitch again another nominated amount. So I decided that that Survivor's probably going to go for the next 2 months, so all of October and probably most of November, and that will be enough time to really push forward 3 Christmas whips. So let's take a look at what they are. You've already seen one, which is my Veronique Enginger Christmas tree, and I really do apologize for the terrible lighting. My goodness. What can I do? There we go. I think I'm just going to have to take some nice photos and insert them, but I'll do my best right now. Then I've got a Mill Hill kit, and it's stitched on fabric, not on the perforated paper. And this is called Waiting for Saint Nick. Here's where I'm up to. I've actually started stitching on this one today. I'm about halfway through what I need to stitch for an immunity reward. So there's that one. And lastly, another Veronique Enginger, and this is the Advent calendar. It's a tea towel. It's a wall hanging on a tea towel. It's a 28 count, I think. 28 count linen, and it's got all the numbers that you would find on an Advent calendar, and I've randomized them across the whole of the project, and I think that's all of it there. And I've been stitching on this now for over a year. I've just got to get it done. So this is a perfect way to get it done. The other thing that I'm doing is I've just joined in with a mystery stitch that's been set up by a group called Stitchingly, and it's a Victorian murder mystery, and the first clue to the murder mystery was released. First 2 clues were released this week. If you want to jump in and join, I believe that's still okay. It hasn't progressed very far. It's very easy to catch up. And the first the first 2 clues of the narrative have already been released, and the first stitching clue was released on Monday. Again, it's not a lot of work, so if you want to stitch to join in, if you're looking for a mystery stitch to join in, it's not too late. It's not very laborious. So this was the first week, and it's you can see it there. The colours are looking nice. This is my choice of colours. I went for a pink and plum colourway, and there we are. It's cute. The light is fading fast in this room. So yeah, there we go. That is the Stitchingly week 1 clue. I think I'll be able to keep up with that. I don't have a lot of commitments singing wise this month. I have a re-audition this week So I need to really pull my socks up and get practicing ready for that. Yes, my choir, it's an auditioned choir, and we re-audition every 2 years just so that they can keep an eye on people's voices. My voice isn't that great at the moment, but we'll see if I can scrape through. If it's not that great, then I might be able to get away with asking for an extension. I have been unfortunate to have been unwell for most of the re-audition events that have happened, and this week is the last possible one. Well, it's not the last possible one. They're very good. They're very kind. But yeah, re-auditions. It's never fun. Putting yourself up for criticism, and that's challenging. And the longer you stay in the choir, the more you feel like you don't want to risk the loss of the friendships and relationships that you've made with the other people in the choir. So you do feel the nerves, and it's more about the risk of losing contact. I'm sure I will be fine. I don't have the same range I had last time around, and that's because of the sinus illness that I've had for the last 2 months, so it's not been great. So that's where all that is. Family wise, we're all doing okay. We've got one child off in Japan at the moment on a school trip, and they're having a blast, and it's really inspiring my husband to kind of think, oh yeah, Japan could be a really fun holiday place. Yes, it could. Let's do it. And our other child has just gotten into an academically selective secondary college. So we're really excited for opportunities that are opening up there, and busy getting the enrollment forms signed, and no uniform, thankfully, and the books, and getting ready for camp, and all of that fun stuff, and making sure that they're as healthy as they can be before heading off on that big new high school, senior college life period, really, isn't it? So we're really thrilled for both of our children and the grand adventures that they're embarking on right now. It's good time to be a parent. And as I mentioned, my sister had a wedding, and that was beautiful. It was the perfect weekend in September. Couldn't have asked for better weather. It was really, really, really wonderful, and really good to see family all together, as we tend to do for those big occasions. So I think I've blathered on long enough now for what was really just 3 whips of progress and some plans for the month ahead. It's been a while since I've been in front of the camera doing a Flosstube, so I feel a bit rusty. Thank you for being so patient. If you haven't already, I would really appreciate a thumbs up, like, thank you. And if you are a subscriber or will subscribe, thank you. Thank you for coming and spending some time with me. Thank you, especially if you're a return visitor, and welcome if this has been your first visit with me in a very different place. So all the best. Happy October. Put down in the comments what you think of my plans for October. I'm jumping right over the top of spooky stitching,
We don't really stitch for Thanksgiving. I'm jumping over that and going straight for Christmas. So yeah, what are your seasonal stitching plans? Pop it down in the comments below. I'd really love to hear from you what they might be. Looking forward to hearing from you, and looking forward to catching up with you in a few weeks' time and showing you the progress that I've made. All right, bye-bye.